In this Thanksgiving video, I'm going to give you 5 things that I'm grateful for as a teacher. Hello everyone, welcome back. It's EJ Kafooples. You have arrived at Kafoople Land, where we discuss all things teacher lifestyle. Today I'm doing a tag video which was started by the wonderful Kat from My So-Called Teacher Lifestyle. No, it's not, sorry, it's Kat from My So-Called Teacher Life. No, it's Kat from My So-Called Lifestyle. And she is a great friend. She lives all the way over in Canada. She's got a beautiful, loving spirit and a really, really friendly vibe on her channel. I would encourage you to go and check out her channel. I'm going to link her video underneath this one. And anyone else's video that I stumble across who has done this tag, I'll do the same. But today I'm just going to tell you 5 simple things that I'm grateful for in this Thanksgiving tag video for 2020 that I'm grateful for this school year. And here in Australia, we've almost finished our school year. We only have 4 weeks to go at the time of filming this video. And we don't actually celebrate Thanksgiving here because it's not part of our culture. It's not part of our history. So I am just jumping on board because Kat invited me to get involved. So here we go. The first thing that I am thankful for as a teacher in 2020 is my amazing job. I don't know if you realize the depth of difficulty that has been for people in different professions and different workplaces and different industries who suddenly, because of the C word, were unable to work. And it's just devastating for people. So my first thing that I'm grateful for is my permanent job as an educator for the rest of my working life. I am so thankful that I have that job security and that each year we have a whole bunch of new students coming through who need to be educated. It's a good job. It's a really good job. And I'm going to this week have a focus on my Instagram page. If you're not following me on Instagram, please do so. It is Kafoople Classroom, and over there I'm going to be talking a little bit more in depth about each day about some of the things that I'm thankful for. So if you're interested in that, go over and follow me. The second thing that I want to talk about in this Thanksgiving tag for 2020 is my students and how flexible that they were. Here in New South Wales, we were off again, on again. We had hybrid early on. We had kids going home. We had kids at school thinking that we're about to close. It was just all over the place, and the students handled it so well. They were quite amazing. We kind of did every style of learning that there was in a really short period of time, and they just did it. They just did it. And it was really interesting. I know lots of educators have said this, how some students who are normally sort of quiet, reserved students, just really flourished doing remote learning. And that was really fascinating. And I think that most of us have evaluated that and thought, we're going to incorporate some of these kinds of things now that we're back in the classroom to give those students more of a voice. The third thing that I'm thankful for in this Thanksgiving tag for 2020 is the beautiful location in which I live. If you don't know, I live in a beautiful regional city here in New South Wales on the North Coast, and it is just stunning. And while we were teaching at home, from home, my husband and I went for daily walks in the morning before we logged on, and it was so great. We were allowed to do it. That's another reason why I'm grateful, not just the beauty and being able to get out in nature and our beautiful temperate climate. I am so grateful that we never got really touched by the C word. We had a small handful of cases at the beginning of this whole pandemic, and then we had nothing, and we continued to have nothing, no cases. So we're kind of protected living away from the big cities, and I just love that. I love being a bit remote and a bit rural. I love that. The fourth thing that I am grateful for in this Thanksgiving tag video for 2020 is the fact that I had experience making videos. So when everything hit, we were kind of lucky. We had a little bit of warning because we could see what was happening over in the Northern Hemisphere and in Europe and America, and we knew something was like it was coming. So we were able to prepare, and luckily for me, because I've been doing YouTube and Instagram for like 4 years or whatever it is, I was very comfortable in front of the camera. I was able to film some lessons. I was able to use Google Meet and then Zoom and then Google Meet because we had different instructions. they changed over time quite competently and confidently. And I know a lot of other teachers struggled a little bit with that because it was a steep learning curve. They had to learn so many skills really fast in a short period of time. But I felt just really lucky and thankful that I'd already taught myself lots of those skills. And the fifth thing that I'm grateful for in this Thanksgiving tag for 2020 is just the fact that I already, similar to the previous one, I'd already had experience using the Google Suite for Education. I was very familiar with Google Classroom and how to integrate all of the Google things like Google Slides, Google Drive, Google Docs, and I had already been using that with my classes, with my students for years. And so when my students had to operate Google Classroom from home, it was fine, totally fine. And I know that there were some schools where they hadn't used Google Classroom before and hadn't used any kind of, what do you call it, educational system or whatever, digital education system. I don't know what it's called, but I know how to use it. And so did my students. So for that, I am really grateful. I'm also grateful, I'm just going to add one more thing, sorry Kat, I hope that's okay, but I'm just really grateful looking back at that time, and we only experienced it for probably a maximum of 6 weeks, and here in New South Wales, in regional New South Wales, we were so lucky. Other places of Australia were not so lucky. I'm thinking of my colleagues in Victoria, they had to teach from home for a very long time, so I know that I'm sort of saying all of this realizing that I'm so lucky and I'm grateful for that experience. But where was I going with that? I don't even know. Where was I going with that? Maybe I was going to say, I'm just so grateful that we only had a short period where we were impacted in the grand scheme of things, and our students are healthy, they are well, they are learning, and teachers are learning as well. Yeah, we got interrupted. Yeah, we got inconvenienced. Yes, we kept getting told different information and it kept changing really quickly, and that was stressful. I'm not trying to make light of all of that situation, but we've kind of come out the other side, touch wood, and yeah, we're all healthy, and I'm looking forward to 2021 really positively. I think it's going to be great. I feel for people. I've got family members who have lost jobs, who are struggling financially, but I'm also, even with that in mind, I'm also really grateful that I live in a nation where we have a strong welfare system and people in that situation can be supported during this time. I'm grateful that we didn't get hit as hard as other countries and that we handled it fairly well. Mistakes were made, but we handled it fairly well in the grand scheme of things. I also want to remember this year as being more than just the COVID year. I want to remember it as, I don't know, just a special time. For me, personally, I was really lucky because my daughter left home at the start of 2021 to go and start her university degree, and then the pandemic hit, and the silver lining to that cloud was that she spent 3 weeks at her new university, and then she had to turn around and come back home and live here for a few months. So my mummy heart was really happy about that. That was really nice, even though she found it quite frustrating trying to do her learning online. She's back now for the summer, so that's all good. I want to thank Kat from myso-called Lifestyle for inviting me to be part of this tag. I hope that you have had some silver linings to your cloud this year, and I would love to hear from you in the comments. I would love it if you subscribe to my channel, and don't forget, most importantly, teach well, live well, and be well.